Welcome to Around Town, featuring what's happening here in the greater Concord area. I'm your host, Dick Patten. It's a pleasure to welcome you back. And yes, football has now officially started in the preseason area, and that goes for college as well. And of course, the apple orchards have opened up for the season, even though the apples aren't ready, but they're open now. And all signs are pointing to Labor Day. And you know what that happens with that, with the country fairs and everything else. But with me are two good old standbys here with Chris Pappas and Ken Jordan, and I almost said Ken Georgievitz, but it's Ken Jordan.
No, he's the other one.
I know. But anyway, they're here for the annual Antique and Classic Car Show, and I'm going to take a peek because I'm on 31st. My gosh, has it gone that many years?
Yeah, we started when we were in kindergarten.
Yeah, I guess so, but my gosh, I mean, it's interesting that, I mean, you just got done the fair back in May, and here it is almost Labor Day, and coming up on Saturday, September 10th, over at the Technical Institute.
The car show seems to be the beginning of the fall season.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's like the
Leaves
kickoff.
are starting to turn, but we still have beautiful days in September.
Well, you hope so.
We've
anyway.
been very lucky.
I hope so. Knock on wood. I mean, it's so dry out there. I just hope that, that we don't get diluted with the full of rain and everything else to make up for the summer and the spring and last winter with no snow, but it has been really bad. But anyway, so the car show is all set, and you both have been with us since day one, right?
Yeah, we have.
And if I remember right, in the past you mentioned about Chuck Aero. Wasn't he in the first year too or something?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. What's happening with him? I know he's in his 90s, gotta be. How's he doing these days?
Charlie's doing well.
Is he?
Yeah.
He and his wife go shopping together. They're out and about.
Yeah.
When the starting of the car show, when we had the canoe races.
Yep. Yeah.
Which when Fred Clark at the time and Dick Perkins were in charge of that, and after 3 years we decided to do something new.
Sure.
Ken had his Camaro, and I had my old car, and Charlie had a Model T.
Yes, I remember him.
And that was the beginning of the car show, right where the Krista McAuliffe Planetarium is now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was our first show.
Gosh.
So the tech schools moved us around the
yes,
campus.
I know.
But they've been very good to us.
Well, it works both ways. You've been very good to them as well.
Yes, we have.
And a nice donation to that medical program down there, the dental program.
The paramedic program.
Paramedic one, yeah.
Nancy Brubaker was in charge of that program for many years.
Was she?
She just recently retired, so now we have another contact, so we'll be making another major donation to the tech school.
Wasn't there I can't remember, I can see his name. Wasn't there a doctor from the hospital, the ER or something, that was big down there also with that program? Oh, I can't remember it. I can see the name. It was a long name, and he was tall, and he was one of the doctors in the ER at the time. But I can't remember.
Ken, that could be your department.
No, I don't. I don't really remember, but in the 31 years, ER.
Oh, I know.
And
changed.
paramedics has changed so much, and
goodness.
that program down there has grown, and I feel very proud that some of the money that we've been able to give them bought things they couldn't get, like test babies, because it's such a different procedure to do emergency work on a baby versus an adult.
Sure.
And they now have dummies to practice on that we were able to help them get.
Wasn't it Dr. Hopperstead? Something like that? That name somehow rings a bell with me. Hopperstead.
I've drawn a blank on that one, Dick.
Now I'm going to have to look it up because that name sounds familiar. I know it started with an H, but I can't remember. I know he was part of that thing down there when it got started.
Dan Connolly, who was in the administration of Concord Hospital, was in the Kiwanis Club for many years. Unless you're thinking of Dan.
No, it definitely started with an H, and he was a doctor in the ER up there, and at Concord Hospital. And he was big in that paramedic program down there, getting it started. But
well, the EMTs will bring the patients. The good part is They've been trained in New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And Nancy told us that most of the students that go through the program stay in New Hampshire.
Well, that's good. That's
so
good.
they don't go out of state on us.
Yeah.
So they pay for a lot of training.
Sure.
We were there 2 years ago in the closet that had all of the equipment that Kiwanis has purchased in the past.
Really?
And it still looks brand new.
For gosh sakes.
So
That's
10,
good,
15
though.
years old, they take care of their equipment.
Yeah.
And we've purchased a lot, over $60,000
Wow.
worth of equipment
Well,
in the
right.
years.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they've taken good care of you, but you've taken good care of them too. Because
Yes, we have.
if you didn't do it, who would have stepped in there? You know, really.
It's an ideal spot for a car show.
Oh yeah.
Rather than a paved parking lot, which
Oh, I know.
particularly a day like today would be something
Oh
else.
my
But
gosh, can you imagine that?
we've had trees for shade. We've had picnic areas. We've
Yeah.
had restrooms. We've made use of their food facilities as well as the
Sure.
hamburgers and hot dogs that we sell. So
Yeah.
it has really been a good relationship. That first show, we had 65 cars, which we thought was very successful. And an interesting tie between the first year and the current year. I went to a car show recently, actually a gathering of car clubs, and I saw a fella sitting in the corner and thought I recognized him, and I went over to him and asked him if he'd once owned a Model A station wagon, and he said yes he did. And I says, as I recall, it was a pretty nice one. He says, yes, it was very nice. He says, in fact, it's been sold and gone to California.
Oh my goodness.
I said, you were at our first Kiwanis car show and you got the long distance award. And he said, I did. He said, I'm surprised you remember.
Isn't that
But it's
a riot,
31
though?
years and he's still going to car stuff.
Isn't that something, huh?
Quite a lot older than we are, and he was having difficulties, but
Wow.
good to see him.
We have so many repeaters that come year after
Well, yeah.
year. We know a good part of these drivers and the cars that they come in with.
It's interesting how many of them are bringing the same cars they brought 31 years ago.
Of course. So you had in order to be an antique, you got to be what, 25 years or older?
Yes. Yeah.
So now we're looking at 19.
It seems strange to see a 1990 car with antique plates on it.
1990, really?
That's a new car, right?
Yeah. No wonder we look at us as antiques, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And we're thinking of antiques, everything from the 20s
Yeah.
up to the 60s,
Yeah.
maybe touching the door of the 70s
I know.
with some of the big block cars that we had.
I'll never forget, and I always bring this up every year. I'll never forget the time we had that show with Tom Hughes, right?
Tom Hughes.
And we were talking about antiques, and all of us are antiques. I said, oh my gosh, and that's true. We really are antiques if you're up to 1990. Holy gosh. But
The tenor of the show has changed, though, because 31
Yeah.
years ago, there were more people with 1930s, Buicks
Oh, yeah.
and Packards and so
yeah,
forth.
yeah,
And as they've gotten older, let's say they were 50 then, they're now in their 80s. If they do come, they tend
Yeah.
to come with a 1960 or 70
Oh,
car that's
yeah.
got air conditioning and so forth. And those who are 50 years old, they're looking at the muscle cars that were popular in the 60s and 70s.
What was a muscle car?
It basically is a relatively light-bodied car with
Yeah.
a very heavy engine, heavy in the sense of horsepower.
Oh, okay.
So if you've got a lot of horsepower, but you've got a light car, you've got a muscle car, a lot of muscle.
I still say, and I love, as I've said many, many years, the 57 Chevy Bel Air. I still like that car. I see them at your show, or I've seen them in parade. It's something about that 57 Chevy Bel Air.
Well, that was a
that I
big
like.
transitional year because in '56 they had just a mediocre tail,
Yeah.
and in '57 it was a drastic change
Oh,
with a
yes.
big fin on it.
But you didn't see it in 58, though.
No,
No.
'58 the Impala came out with
Oh,
a
yeah.
rectangular
Yeah.
3-bullet
Yeah,
lights.
yeah. But I do. And then also the other one I've got somebody I like is the 54 Ford, I think it is. I think that's the one, or the 52 Ford. One of them's in that area there. And I see it out there. I think as you drive to Northwood, out there just before Johnson's Steakhouse, there's a some antique or classic cars for sale out there.
Yeah.
On the right.
Yeah.
And I think it's there that it's like a light blue Ford, and I kind of think it's either a 52. I don't think it's a 54 though, but I think it's a 52.
They were very similar.
Yeah.
52, 3, and 4.
Yeah. And I said, boy, I wish I had the money. I'd love to buy that because I was born in 52. But, you know, and my father had a 1950 black Ford like that. But, yeah, I mean, these owners, I mean, they take pride in these cars.
Oh, definitely.
Or trucks
Definitely
or whatever.
do.
I mean, boy, you don't get near them, and gosh forbid if you do. You know,
Well,
if you're walking around with an ice cream cone or something, hey, get away from there. You know, or smoking or something. I mean, boy.
Well, I know, speaking for myself, I never mind, particularly the little kids.
No.
I'll let them get in and sit
Yeah.
and look around. It's more if they have respect for what you have and
Yeah,
don't lean
exactly.
over it with a belt buckle or something
Yeah,
like
exactly,
that. You know?
yeah.
That's what you're afraid of. But
Yeah.
I love to share it
Yeah,
myself.
I'm sure. Yeah. And you being in the Grapponi business for so many years, I mean, you can go back. How far back did you go when you worked there? Was it back in the 50s? Or you worked in the 60s or what?
I was there in 71.
Oh, that's when you started?
71.
Oh, I always thought you were there in the 60s or something.
So a lot of people were trading in their late 50s and 60
Yeah,
cars
yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
If we only knew, Ken, if we only had a garage big enough to store all the cars that we owned through
know.
those years.
Oh, look at that guy out there. Was it Nebraska or Oklahoma or somewhere out in that field? He had all those old cars or something, and people went out and bought or whatever it was there.
Oh yeah,
Can you
he was a
imagine
Chevrolet.
that?
He was a Chevrolet dealer.
Yeah.
One of his pickup trucks came back to New Hampshire. It had 1 mile on it.
My
1 mile. But something had fallen on it and damaged the roof of it. But that didn't hurt the price.
No.
The fella bought it, and it's like it came from the factory,
Wow.
except for that dent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there were a lot of cars there that people were really anxious to get to.
Mm. And I still remember the day I was down there with you folks. The Packard, that was one I had never seen. And that was a big car. wasn't
They
it?
were big cars.
No, it was like Cadillacs.
The 32 Packard.
Could be, I guess. I don't know. But it
I
was
think
a
we
big
also had a 56 Packard there.
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
we
like
had-
big Cadillacs.
We had what they call a Caribbean, which was around 56, I think.
Mm.
But that was a tricolored car. It had 3 colors.
Wow.
And very, very elegant looking car, but only 1 year, I think, that they made those. 1 or 2 years, just before they went out of business.
Ken, was that the cream colored with a brown with a vinyl top?
I think so.
That's the one I'm thinking
Something-
of. Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen some beauties.
Oh, I bet.
And we've seen some oddballs.
Oh, yeah.
We had a fella come in with a pickup truck that he made over. The back end of it had a hot tub on it, and it had a stand that raised up so you could sit in the back and you could watch a race or whatever. And he had a lunchbox thing, and everything was hydraulic, and it was quite a piece of inventive mechanical art.
Isn't that something? I don't know. I mean, I know we had that Ford. Then my father had bought as a second vehicle an old Buick. It was green, and it was a big thing, but it was probably in the early mid-50s or whatever. Then he had a Chevy that was a second car for him to use, and had the high back there with a window up, down or something there, and that was probably like a 48 or a 49 or something like
Was that a
that.
4-door sedan or a coupe?
It would have been a 4-door sedan, but it looked like it was definitely the high back seat, back down, came like, slide down or whatever, the Chevy. And then we had a 59 Ford Fairlane, I think, and that was kind of low to the ground if I remember right. Yeah, Fairlane. Yeah, Ford
Those
Fairlane.
are the years of the Fairlane, the Fairlane 500.
Nice car.
Yes.
But they were low down to the ground if I remember right.
They were beginning to get sleeker looking. They were NASCAR racing was getting hot about that time, and they would modify the cars, and then the manufacturers began working with them to make them more aerodynamic, and then they sold more cars.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Race on Sunday, sell on Monday.
Yeah.
Whatever your favorite guy was winning with, that's the car you wanted to go buy.
Really?
How
Oh
true
my
that was
goodness.
back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
win one day and sell on, win on Sunday.
Isn't that interesting? Then we had a Mercury that was wide, low down too, and it was, I can't remember what that one was. It was a Mercury. I don't remember that.
We had the Mercury Marquis, the Mercury Park Lane.
Well, this was again back in the early '60s now.
Yeah.
And it was low down like the Ford
Yeah.
Fairlane was.
In Monterey.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, so I bet that was it. And you know, because my folks couldn't afford a brand new car, so we always got second hands or third hands or whatever.
Dick,
Yeah.
back then it was very easy for people to trade every 2 years.
Yeah.
That seemed to be the cycle, 2 years or 3
Yeah.
years. People just automatically traded in their cars.
Yep.
And didn't cost them very much because cars didn't cost
No, I know.
very much back then.
Yeah. Now, out of curiosity, when did automatic shifting come in?
1939.
Yep. Really? That far back?
Oldsmobile had it in 1939, and it was a hydromatic.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then in the 40s, Cadillac really developed it a little further, and then in 41, when car production stopped,
Yeah.
they developed that transmission further and used it in tanks with Cadillac engines. And by the end of the war, Cadillacs and Oldsmobiles had pretty well tested automatic transmissions, and Buick came out with a hydromatic, right?
Right.
Hydromatic. And so it was GM really at that point. I don't think Fordomatic
Ford
came out in
had
a 51 or 2.
Fordomatic
Yeah.
Because all we
in
had
the
was
early
standards.
50s.
So all we could afford was standard cars. I said, no way I'm going to drive one of them.
Chevrolet called theirs the Power Glide.
Power Glide, that was a good
Buick
transmission.
had a Dynaflow,
Yes.
but they had a unique because it didn't shift. It was one constant gear.
Yeah, it just kept expanding. They took off slow, but they went like a bat out of Hades when when they got up there.
My doctor, Dr. Helligan, always had a DeSoto. Remember that? Because when we used to go to his office, they'd say, watch for a DeSoto. Oh, I know what a DeSoto was as a kid. We didn't know what a DeSoto was, but he had a DeSoto. And who made that? Was that
Chrysler.
Chrysler.
Chrysler made it, really?
Chrysler. They had Chrysler, Dodge, DeSoto, and Plymouth,
And Imperial.
and the Imperial.
I remember the Imperial, that's right.
One of the things that Dodge had in the late 70s, in the late 40s, was a fluid drive. It was a 3-speed on the column that you could let your foot out on the clutch while you were sitting still. The car wouldn't go forward until you stepped on the gas.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was called fluid drive.
Really?
You still shifted as normal,
Yeah.
but when you were at a standstill, you could actually take your foot off the clutch rather than ride the clutch. A lot of unique things through the years,
Oh, yeah.
Ken.
Yeah.
What
that
would
the manufacturers have.
What would kids do nowadays if they all went back to the standards and all that stuff? I know I couldn't drive a standard. I got too nervous on it.
Well, it's funny, I mentioned earlier I like little kids to look the car
Yeah.
over. I took my car, 57 Oldsmobile, to a school, an elementary school, and the 5th graders came out, and I had 6 boys climb into the front of it. First thing they said sitting down was, "Where's the seat belts?" Well, they didn't have seat belts in 57. And then they looked at all the stuff on the side of the door, and they said, "What do these things do?" Well, they were the window cranks.
Oh, for
They've never
God's
seen
sakes.
anything but automatic buttons. So that really made me feel a lot younger.
Oh, and then my father bought a second-hand Studebaker from a co-worker of his at Concord Lumber, and the only problem with it was that the back seat had burned, so they had to take the whole back seat out, and all I could smell. Oh God, you could get that smell would never get out of it. And I used to hate to ride in it. I was so afraid of it, afraid to catch on fire.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason why was the seat. So they had to take the seat out and get another one put in there. But
Back when people smoked,
yeah, oh yes.
throw the cigarette in the back seat, it'll go out sooner or later.
Yeah. Oh, I know. The ashtrays were in the back of the seat of the front seat there. Yeah, it's like, oh, the smoke.
If you needed parts, you went to see Niall Faust.
Yeah,
He
for
was
Studebaker.
He was the Studebaker dealer up on North State Street.
Oh yeah.
opposite Blossom Hill.
Yeah, I remember. I see. I remember.
And
that.
he moved down to South Main Street
Yeah.
where Capital Dodge
Oh yeah.
was. That was the Studebaker dealership.
Oh, for God's sakes. When you think
And-
about now and now where the different dealers were located and to try to picture, because right next to that pizza market on South Main Street, there was a car dealership in there. Was that one? Was that a Grapponi one or no?
Carlson's.
Carlson's.
Carlson.
Constantly
Yeah.
Pizza. Carlson's
Oh.
was there.
Okay.
They had Chrysler and Plymouth.
Mm.
Remember Keegan Contucci
Yes.
too? They were Dodge or something.
They were on Hall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had Grapponi's. Didn't they have one down on Hall Street there right now where
They bought the property. and,
right CBS is right?
yeah.
Yeah, there was
In
one there.
1958, John Grapponi went to Manchester Street, where Carlson's is presently now.
Hmm.
Then they moved over to Hull Street,
Yeah.
and
Gosh.
they were pretty well landlocked. And then when they moved out, the Bamboo Gardens moved in
Yeah.
with the Chinese restaurant,
Hawaiian Isle.
Hawaiian Island.
Yeah,
right.
I remember that. Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you.
Chris and I following cars can give you complete Concord history.
Oh, I know,
Because we
yeah,
went to
well, that's
where the
good,
cars, so they're next
Yeah.
to that.
I know it, yeah. Well, anyway, it starts at 9 a.m. It goes to 3:30, and the rain date, of course, is Sunday on the 11th. Spectators $3 per person, under 12 free. And then, of course, you've got the food trailer on site for refreshments all day. 7:30 a.m. coffee and donuts. 10 a.m. to 2 is the hot dog, burgers, and cheeseburgers, soft drinks. 50-50 raffle. Must be present to win. 21 classes. Now, are there any new classes that you haven't had before? Is that for the vehicles?
We actually pared that down. We
Did you?
had 30 classes at one time.
Wow.
It seemed like we were overlapping
Yeah.
quite a few of those, so we pared it down, and we ended up with 21 classes.
What's a Mopar?
That's a Chrysler product.
And they're very, very popular right now.
Mopar?
Chrysler products, Dodge,
Oh, yeah.
Dodge Charger.
Dodge, Plymouth.
Chrysler's still making vehicles, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but they're not making Plymouths. And they're not making, well, they went back to Dodge cars with the Dodge Charger and Challenger.
Yeah.
But, and
It
of course,
was-
DeSoto you mentioned,
Yeah.
they haven't made those since late 50s.
It was announced actually just last week that Fiat Chrysler is going to stop manufacturing cars in the U.S.
Hmm.
So I don't know what that'll do with the
Well, that's
Dodge
sad.
police car Charger.
Yeah,
But
jeez.
they wanted to concentrate on trucks and Ram trucks and vans.
Do you think that they'll ever bring back the Oldsmobile or the Plymouth or,
DeSoto,
well, yeah, the
Pontiac.
Pontiac, that's
Hudson.
what I'm thinking. The
Hudson,
Pontiac, they'll
Studebaker.
never bring them back, will they? And
No.
I'm surprised at Pontiac, no way, because that was a popular car. Same way with Mercury. I loved the Mercury, more so than
Yeah,
like a
I was
Ford.
surprised when Mercury went. Oldsmobile is still popular.
I know,
That's a very active antique car club. The Oldsmobile, there's 2 antique car clubs for Oldsmobile.
but they don't want. Now that's a GM, right?
Yeah.
But they don't want to bring them back. No idea, huh?
They've scaled back instead of their 5 or 6 models. Now they've got 4.
They're crazy.
Well, those were all independent,
Yeah.
semi-independent divisions, and they
Yeah.
all had their own design team and their engineering team, and they're trying to consolidate and make everything look the same and
Yeah.
work the same.
Then you got, of course, trucks and all that, and the Volkswagen, special interest Cobras, street rods, and well, it sounds like another great line of it. And then people get to vote on these now as their favorite choice. So
We have a People's Choice. Everyone that enters gets a People's Choice ballot.
yeah,
The drivers that own the vehicles get to vote on all the others. And one of the little side things Ken might want to talk about, some of the Cobras that we have, original, and some of the replicas. Can't tell the difference.
Can't tell the difference. Somebody you and I both know is about to get a
We
delivery.
know.
Somebody's just had a Cobra built for themselves.
Really?
That we know. Yeah,
wow.
a new one. It's going to be kind of nice.
Hmm.
I understand it's being delivered tomorrow. I can't wait to see it.
I bet the price on that one's pretty good.
Well, it is. It was such that a Ferrari was sold to buy the Cobra.
Wow. Hmm.
So that gives you an idea.
Yeah.
But
Ian, you want a Cobra?
Hopefully we'll see that at the show.
oh, that'd be
Corvairs.
nice.
I remember the Corvair.
That's actually a nice little car.
Yeah.
That got a bad rap, and they're a nice little car. And there's
Yeah,
a
my
fellow
aunt
down in
had one.
Connecticut that designed them for more racing. John something or other, and he's the same guy that invented those sand barriers at intersections. If you hit at the intersection, you're going to hit these yellow barrels that are full
Yeah.
of sand.
Yeah.
He's the engineer that came up with that, but he designed a Corvair, which is a beautiful little car and very, very competitive.
They had the Corvair Monza. They had a Spider with a turbocharged engine that was very fast. It was quite the car, but you're right, they got a bad rap. My brother had a 63 and a half Ford Falcon Futura, which was a Falcon Sprint with a 260 V8 in it. Talk about after having these little 144 cubic inch 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders, the V8 in a little car, that was a rocket ship back then.
A riot. Huh. And let's see, the raffles, giant raffle starts at 1:15. You don't need to be present, and so it sounds like another great day you've got planned down there. And you can register online, I believe, right? Or do you have to do it on?
No, they can get the form online
Okay.
at ConcordKiwanis.org, but it's has to be either mailed in
Yeah.
before the show
Okay.
or just bring in the application the
Good.
day of the show.
So registration for vehicles, $12 if you get it before, about 15 at the show, right?
We haven't changed those prices for many years, Dick.
And Sanel and Grapponi's are the two big sponsors.
Sanos and Grapponis.
Good. So
They've
Yeah.
been very loyal, and
Oh, yeah.
we've been loyal to them.
So the Kiwanis on the whole, I know we're getting short on time, but the Kiwanis Club itself is doing very well. Or at least
We have a resurgence
good.
after having a 100 members at one time, and I think we're at 40 members. So if anybody's watching and wants to inquire about the
Did you get your
Kiwanis
president?
Club, yes,
Yes, we did. Yep.
Who's the president now?
Mary Jane Ricker.
Sounds familiar.
She's a commercial banker.
Oh, okay. Good. Good. Well, it's tough because we're, like we've said many times, we're in an era that nobody really wants to be anything. They don't want to join. They'll come to an event, but they don't want to be required to go to a meeting or hold an office, and it's sad.
Well, I think more people are focused on a certain thing. For instance, they will work hard for the Heart Society or the Cancer Society, and they put a lot of effort into what events they might have.
Yeah.
But as far as a general service club that's out there,
Yeah.
we contribute to kids that have problems in school, getting shoes, and
Yeah.
just helped an elderly woman who desperately needed hearing aids, was it? Yeah, hearing
Yes.
aids. She wrote us a nice letter and said, "You can't believe how happy I am to
Oh,
hear
sure.
birds again."
Sure.
So, that's a general service, and most of the general service clubs are having difficulty.
They are. It's sad because if it wasn't for the clubs, organizations, there'd be nothing going on. Your fair again this spring, I assume, was a success.
It was.
You had one day, I think, of rain or close to
Friday.
rain, but yeah.
We had
other
to
than
close early,
that, yeah, but
but overall it turned out okay.
it's good. Well, like I said before, that Raponi Park over there, not Raponi Park, Kiwanis Park over there behind the arena is one of the greatest gifts that I think you folks have ever given to the city.
It's well
Because
maintained.
it
You
is well
always see
used,
cars.
Well used, yes.
well used over there, and boy, I'll tell you, if it wasn't for the Kiwanis, we wouldn't have heard that. You know, so.
And one Kiwanian in particular, Tom Rutherford.
Yeah.
But if you think of what that was before,
Oh, I know.
just overgrown pucker brush and brambles and
That's right.
garbage.
Exactly.
Now it's a nice place to sit and have lunch, go for a walk, have
Yeah.
an event.
Exactly. Well, we are coming down to 13 seconds left, but again, don't forget the 31st annual Antique Classic Car Show by the Kiwanis Club of Concord at the New Hampshire Technical Institute, Concord's Community College, over there on, I call it Institute Drive, Fan Road, or
Fan
whatever you
Road.
want to call it, but it's over there off exit 2.
Exit
Exit
one.
one.
Oh, is exit? I call it exit 1?
393.
Okay. Off 393. And tons of things to eat. Look at all the beautiful cars and trucks and whatever, and sign up for the prizes, and who knows what you're going to win, you know? So, with that in mind, thank you, gentlemen, Ken Jordan and Chris Pappas, and
Thank you, Dick.
it's good
Thank you.
seeing you guys again,
Good
and
to see
glad
you.
you're still able to get this stuff done, you know?
It's still running.
Yeah. So many thanks to my director over there, Ian Marx, and I'll tell you. And we look forward to seeing you over there at the Tech on September the 10th. So thanks again.